What can you cook for $1 in 2026?
Hey everyone, dear friends, subscribers, and guests of my channel. You are watching the 5 Stars channel. Today we have a challenge. A tough challenge. Eat something delicious and homemade for just $1 in 2026. Doing this is not that easy, friends, because prices are astronomical now. But in this challenge, we still need some rules. We must buy the main ingredients for exactly $1. And basic ingredients we might already have at home, like sunflower oil, water, salt, sugar, basic spices like pepper, and all that. We will skip those, guys, because everybody has them. For $1, of course, you could quickly go buy a cheap bread roll and some cheap pate. You'd easily fit into $1, stuff yourself, and that would be the end of it. Or, for example, buy 2 small potatoes, find some loose eggs, and grab 2 potatoes and an egg. Fry all of that up and eat it too. But we're not taking the easy way out. We want to eat something truly delicious, and that's going to be a soup, guys. One of the most beloved soups in Poland, friends, is Rosół, or as we usually call it, chicken broth. To buy ingredients for the broth, we need a large store where you can buy everything by weight. My choice fell on Auchan. Let's go in and see if we can buy all the ingredients in Auchan and fit into $1. Easy there. Standing in the Auchan parking lot, a woman parked and slammed her door right into my door. Perfect, minus $1. Even though there is no car next to her, she could have walked to the other side, opened the door, grabbed her stuff, and walked away. Well, women. Of course, I have nothing against women, but facts are facts. The logic is just missing. All right, friends, today's video is not about that. We'll talk about everyday topics some other time, but right now I'm heading into Auchan. All right, my sweet little fishes, I bought 1 chicken spine that cost 50 gross, and I bought 2 chicken wings that came out to 1.82 zlotys, making our total 2.3. Now we just need to buy noodles. With the rest, the 1.3 zlotys, we need some tasty egg noodles. But we have a tiny emergency here, honestly. We have to grab these kryanka noodles. It's a wheat noodle, but there's 400 gram in here. We don't need the whole 400 gram, we just need 200 gram for our broth. So we will take it and count it as exactly 1 zloty. Because before, Auchan had bulk bins with noodles, grains sold by weight. Now it's all pre-packaged. Sadly, I couldn't find this sold by weight here. So we'll simply pretend we bought 200 grams of noodles by weight. I'll take a pack of noodles for 2 zlotys. We almost had 1.3 left anyway. Yeah. And by the way, I also grabbed an onion. Yeah, 21 gross. So you could say we fit the budget. We even have 20 or 30 gross left over. Well then, my sweet little fishes, we have everything. Let's tally up the receipt. The onion was 21 gross. I also grabbed a parsley root, which is super needed for a broth. That's 26 gross. Next up for 50 gross, we got the chicken back, the spine, and our 2 wings came to 1.82 zlotys. And honestly, I already regret buying them. I should have just bought more spines. The broth would have been much richer. But we need some meat, because there's almost no meat on those. It's just bones. And our noodles are 2 zlotys. But we count it as 1 zloty, because we only need half a pack. But unfortunately, you can't buy half a pack anywhere. Right now, there are no bulk noodles even in Auchan. Before, there was a bulk section here, where you could buy different noodles and cereals by weight. Well, I call it a bulk section, where you can pour as much as you need on the scale. The minimum is 100 g there. Yeah, well, sadly, they don't have it anymore. All right, let's head to the register and see what our total receipt will be. And remember, minus 1 zloty for the noodles. Oh, guys, I actually found it, this bulk section. But here, 100 grams of noodles cost 1.36 zlotys. So unfortunately, it's actually cheaper to grab this 400 g pack of Auchan brand noodles. It's like a chopped egg noodle, so we will just stick with this. All right, my sweeties, I'm already in the car, and our receipt came out too. I hope you can see it clearly, and you can pause the video and see that I didn't trick you in any way at all. Whoops, I am showing you the receipt upside down. and our receipt came out to 4.77, friends. And remember, minus a zloty for the noodles. So our total is 3.77. The dollar sell rate is 3.6 and buy is 3.82 today. So we fit perfectly, friends, into our $1 limit. And now we are flying home fast to cook up some delicious rosół, a super tasty chicken broth. Let's go. My sweet little pies. I finally made it to my kitchen. I'll turn on the light now. Is that better? So this is the exact set we ended up with. 2 wings, a back, parsley root, an onion, and noodles. All of this came out to, as a reminder, $1. Minus 1 zloty for the noodles. Because there's no cheaper noodles anywhere. Buying bulk would be even more expensive. In bulk, we'd only buy 100 g for 1.3 zlotys. So we're gonna make this little exception. A lot of you will start typing in the comments, "You're gonna use sunflower oil now. It costs money too." Salt, pepper, some basic spices. I will tell you, yeah, you will be totally right. But everybody has these ingredients at home. There's no home without sunflower oil, salt, and pepper, at least in the cupboard. And we will need such a tiny amount of this, maybe a gram of each of these ingredients. You can't just buy them like that. That simply doesn't exist. There is no store where you can buy 20 g of sunflower oil and 1 g of salt and pepper. And even if there was, the price of it would be so incredibly tiny that altogether it would be another 50 gross. And then I would have just taken 1 less wing. Our chicken broth would have just been a bit leaner, but it still would have worked out. All right, no more rambling. I'm reminding you that 80% of you watch the channel, but do not subscribe. I don't know why. Maybe you're just a little shy. If you aren't shy, then hit that subscribe button. And a quick reminder, in the comments you can write down what city you are actually from. What is your favorite spot and dish? We'll make a list from your comments. Then we'll travel around Poland, visiting your favorite joints. We'll test them out for the 5 stars channel rating. Maybe someone gets a 5 deluxe from us? All right, guys, no more stalling, let's start cooking. So I don't take up too much of your time, I already cleaned our parsley root. I don't peel it, I just take the abrasive side of a sponge and scrub it super well under cold water. An onion. Now the chicken, friends. We cut the chicken right at the joints. We need it to be in the smallest pieces possible, so that it releases as much of its flavor as possible. That's the whole point. If the chicken is cut really small, it'll give the absolute maximum flavor to our broth. I'll be honest, I'm regretting it right now, because these are really good backs. Super good chicken backs, and they were the cheapest. We probably would have gotten way more fat and meat from the backs. But it's fine, we will just force cut them down the spine like this, right in half, because we need this to give us maximum flavor. We will flatten it out like this so it can get a nice sear, friends. Before adding the water, we'll fry all of this up nicely. You might say, what fool fries meat for a broth? Just throw it in, boil it, and there is your broth. But we have very few ingredients, and our water volume is 1.2 liters. Why 1.2 liters? Because 200 grams is just the water that'll boil off. But if we caramelize it all, it will give off even more flavor. The chicken will render its fat and juices right into the pan. This whole thing will caramelize together with the parsley root and the onion. And then this flavor in the broth will be much richer. We're taking literally a drop of oil. We don't need much. First thing, we caramelize the parsley root. Okay, I hope you can see everything there. Looks like there's no glare. We're waiting for the pan to get nice and hot. See how the parsley root is caramelizing, sweating, getting all golden? And it instantly releases its flavor into the oil. I poured literally 10 to 15 grams of oil, no more, just so nothing burns. We'll do the exact same thing with the onion. We cut it into 4 wedges, and we'll caramelize it a little bit on each side. Sadly, I really can't transmit this amazing smell to you. But there's already such a powerful, good parsley aroma. I just toss the onion in, and it too, friends, gives off a great smell. This caramelization aroma is filling the whole apartment. That's why I always say, before boiling, it's better to caramelize everything. Remember this, in cooking, the more proper thermal processes you use, even with minimal ingredients, the tastier your dish will be. Oh, now I see that you can definitely see everything. It should be perfectly visible. I'll try to adjust the lighting a bit right now to make it better. Well, more or less like this. All right, guys, I won't bore you too long with this frying and the rest. I'll just caramelize this, yeah, and then I'll turn the camera back on and we will continue. You get the idea. We need to caramelize this small amount of veggies so our broth has a richer flavor. And in the meantime, I already turned on the water. The water should be boiling while we caramelize all of this. All right, guys, this is exactly what our caramelized products look like. They aren't salted or peppered yet. This is simply the caramelization process, friends, of the veggies and the meat. Look at how much better it looks now. And this is how we manage to fry up our chicken. There will be so much fat to season our broth perfectly, and our water is already boiling. Now we'll start dropping all of this right into the pot. We put it on the lowest heat so the broth stays clear. When all of this finishes cooking, we'll have a perfect broth. And in the meantime, while the ingredients release their flavor into the broth, we will handle the noodles. Look at how beautifully golden everything looks. You can actually see right away that our broth is turning yellow. This is all because we caramelized our ingredients, my friends, and the flavor will be much richer. Because our caramelized ingredients will release their flavor into the broth, making it yellow, beautiful, and clear, and it'll be incredibly tasty. Also, I was thinking I'll most likely add the noodles straight in here, guys. But I'll think about it a bit more, because our pot is really small. Just 1 liter. And if I add the noodles in here, it might just be way too much. Maybe I'll boil them separately. But since our noodles are wheat, I'd like them to release their flavor into the broth too. I think it will only be a plus, not a minus. The broth will get even richer, since the flavor of another ingredient will be added. And wheat noodles have a pretty good taste. We just have natural noodles, nothing extra. Just wheat flour, water, and turmeric for color. It's a little yellow from the turmeric. By the way, let's talk about our spices. I also prepared some turmeric. I'll add literally the tip of a knife to tint the color a bit, to make it more golden. Also standard ground black pepper. This is the base, the foundation of any broth. And I have literally a drop of dried garlic left here. We will add a little of that too, and 2 bay leaves. And of course, friends, whole peppercorns, can't go without them. I'll start slowly adding them right now, so the pepper has time to release its flavor. In the meantime, make yourself some tea, just like I did. Enjoy your meal, friends, because you're watching the 5 Stars Culinary channel. Cheers! All right, drank some tea, we can slowly start seasoning our broth. It has been cooking for 15 minutes. I already took the lid off. Set it to the absolute lowest heat you have on your stove. Man, grease splashed everywhere. Of course, while I was caramelizing all this. I forgot. I have a splatter screen for frying, so you can, well, so it doesn't pop. But sadly, I forgot it. It's no big deal. All right, I'll add the spices to the broth and figure out what to do with the noodles. Will we add them in there or boil them separately? Looking at the capacity of this pot, it's a 2-liter pot. We threw veggies and chicken in there. I can see that 200 g of noodles won't fit, plus they'll expand. And the broth will just start boiling over. So I'll put the noodles in a second pot and boil them separately. All right, guys, our broth is pretty much ready now. Look at how nice and beautifully golden it turned out. All those caramelized bits released their color. A bit of turmeric also added to our golden color. Also, deep in the cupboard, I found some dill. Added literally half a gram of dill to it as well. Hope you can see it. Looks like the camera isn't fogging up. Look at what a beauty we ended up making. And here are our noodles. Look at the cloudiness. The wheat released its starch. I'll tell you, this is already a separate soup. I took a spoon and tasted this pasta water. The flavor is rich, kind of starchy, and slightly salted. If this had been boiling right in the broth, we'd end up with a thick chicken noodle soup, kind of something in the style of a Thai soup. But no, we are making Rosół, so we'll boil the noodles separately. We'll rinse them, put them in a bowl, and then pour our finished broth over them. It is almost completely ready now. We toss in the bay leaf and cover it with a lid. Let it simmer for another 10 minutes. And then we absolutely have to take the bay leaf out. because a bay leaf will add bitterness to our broth, and it won't be as tasty anymore. All right, friends, I'll see you when we plate all of this into our bowls. I need to go rinse the noodles. Here is how it turned out. We got this nice broth. Let me grab a spoon, I'll stir it around a bit right now. Look at how beautifully golden and rich it is. Everything that was well seared released its color. Everything released its color into the broth. And the flavor too. Look at this absolute beauty. The noodles are ready too. Now I'll portion them out into a bowl. What do you think, Max? He says it looks like goulash. It's definitely not goulash. You'll taste it right now. The signature broth from 5 stars. Adding our noodles in. Being generous. Not holding back. We got 200 grams of noodles. We need to fill up for $1, not just stare at the food. I think this will be enough. And here we go with the broth. What a beauty. Just look at the beauty we ended up with, friends. Chicken, veggies, parsley, and onions. It all boiled nicely, got perfectly caramelized. The broth has a golden color. It's totally clear. I put a lot of noodles in. You can't really see it because the yellow fat blocks the color. But it is clear. It just looks super good. Oh, just so you don't tell me I'll try it now and say it's super tasty myself. I got a taste tester here, our famous Lux. You all remember him. Max is Lux, and Lux is Max. He'll be the first to test it out right now, guys, and he'll give his opinion. Meanwhile, I'll serve myself a second bowl. Look, for $1 we managed to feed 2 people, so our challenge is completed at 200%. Look at this beauty. I'll get you a clean spoon right now. Well then, my sweet little pies. I am already sitting down here. This is exactly what our broths look like. Not bad at all. Now we're gonna do a taste test. Well, I'll tell you this. It didn't turn out exactly like a traditional Rosół. Yeah, not quite like a classic broth. It looks more like a thick noodle soup, but it's a very tasty soup, a filling soup. If you consider that we fit perfectly into exactly $1, and you can get totally full from this. By the way, I actually love all of this, and all these veggies. The caramelized parsley, nice and sweet. I really love it all, friends. Of course, not everyone loves fried onions or fried parsley, but I do. I hope you can see the broth turned out really well. Clear, rich, and nice, and fatty. Let's go ahead and taste the chicken. Perfect, the chicken turned out super tasty. I absolutely didn't miss by caramelizing all this stuff. Not even once. I did it perfectly right. Awesome, guys. Honestly, I'm just really happy with it. Delicious nourishment, just enough to fill you up for the day. For $1. You can hardly make anything better than this. Perfect. And we even ate a piece of meat, not just plain noodles and water. And I'll tell you even more. This fatty broth will actually keep you full for a very long time. Now, many people will say, you could have just gone and bought a sweet pastry or a slice of cake for $1 and not bothered with all of this, and that the sugar would give you the needed kilocalories too. But if you spend a little time online and research culinary topics, that's probably true, since you ended up on our channel. And now you are watching a video about awesome meals for $1. Then every single one of you should know this. Sugar energy doesn't last. Even though it is the exact same amount of kilocalories, not nearly as long as the energy from good fat. Fat energy lasts much longer. You feel full for a much longer time. You won't feel a sense of hunger for quite a while, because sugar is a fast carb. It hits your system quickly, gives a spike of energy, and then you lose it just as fast. But fats, and ours, are totally natural here. There are no trans fats. Everything is organic. We didn't use any chemicals at all. Fats release energy slowly. If you eat a good broth, you'll be energized all day. Honestly, this is enough to fill you up and keep you going until the very evening, until dinner. Plus, don't forget, for $1, you can buy maybe a pack and a half of instant noodles. Not even 2. And again, who knows what those noodles are made of? No idea what spices or chemicals are in that packet. Here, we get a completely natural product. It's tasty and seasoned exactly how we like it. I really dig it. The only thing is, unfortunately, you can't buy high-quality pasta for this price. These are the cheapest noodles. Just flour and water. These are basic wheat noodles. Maybe that's not even a bad thing, because there isn't a single E number in here. Flour, water, salt, and turmeric for color. But in a broth, you're used to egg noodles. They taste a bit better, a bit softer. So because of these noodles, it feels more like a soup than a classic Rosół. But I'll tell you one thing. There's a serious critic sitting to my left. If it weren't tasty, he wouldn't be eating. But I see he's really into it, wolfing it down. So Max, what do you say? Is it good? How's the chicken? Do you like everything? Yeah, I do. There you go, friends. The best testers and critics are your kids. Because a child will never eat something that doesn't taste good, or else it just won't work for him. He'll tell me, I'm not gonna eat this. All right, thanks everyone for watching. We're gonna finish up our broths. Don't forget to write in the comments, friends, what city in Poland you're from. What's your favorite spot and your favorite dish there? We'll definitely make a list and hit those cities this summer. And we'll test your best spots according to our 5 stars rating. Also, don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. 80% of you are still watching, guys, without subscribing. I don't know why. I'm telling you, maybe you're just shy. We don't do anything weird here. Don't be shy. We don't use foul language here. And as you can see, we film with kids too. No swearing, everything's cool, so don't be shy, just subscribe. Have a great day, everyone. See you soon. Subscribe to the channel, there's a lot more coming. I have more ideas for dishes you can make for just $1. We'll definitely bring them to life with you. See you soon. Oh, I said goodbye to you a bit too early. It turns out we actually got 3 servings. I went back in there and scraped the bottom. And we still have 2 pieces of meat, another piece of a wing, 1/2 of a chicken spine left. And I scraped out some more noodles too. It's decent, friends, a whole extra serving. So we could have fed 3 people for $1. 3 people would be full for $1. This is huge, friends. We ate well, and we got full. So here's a way to survive if you're low on cash, and not eat the cheapest pates with bread rolls or buns. Without killing your body and your gut, there's only chemicals in those pates, nothing else. Here's the cheapest way. $1. Go borrow 10 g of oil from a neighbor. Because we only need oil in the pan so the chicken doesn't stick, I poured literally 15 g of oil. And here you go, a way to eat something tasty, cheap, and cheerful, rich. To eat well, right? So the challenge is complete, I'd say 300%. 300%, my friends, not 100. So that's how it is. $1. $1.